What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today we finally have my review of the PlayStation 5. I'm not really loyal to either platform. I just want to see the console community get the respect and love from Respawn that we deserve. But hopefully we have some new people here from the console community, so if you are new here, consider subscribing. I am a console creator for Apex Legends. And one thing real quick is this is not one of my in-depth reviews. This is kind of like a first impression review. I haven't spent a ton of time with the PlayStation 5 on Apex, but I have enough to give my first impression opinion. Anyway, let me answer some quick questions that you guys might have. So first, the gameplay that you are seeing in the background is on a new account, of course, because I had to create a PlayStation account, so there was no way for me to get around playing low-level players in the beginning. So I just decided to no-fill, and I dropped a 4K 20 on all these bots.
That's fucking illegal.
Hey, get your numbers up. I had to get my numbers up.
But yes, the gameplay is super cringe, and so just don't give me hate for it. I probably will get hate for it, but anyway, the people I was going up against were definitely not the best players. And so I played a good amount of games, but then I dropped this game still, so it just wasn't putting me where I should be. Also, this gameplay was from last season on Broken Moon, as you can tell. Now that I've got that out of the way, let me answer some of the other questions that you guys might have. So how did I record this gameplay? I honestly just used the normal PS5 capture feature to capture my gameplay, and it's actually really good. For anyone interested in making content on the PS5, make sure you change your capture format to the MP4, not WebM, because I had no clue when I captured. It was in 1440p in WebM, and I had to convert it to an MP4, and that's probably why the image quality and the colors just don't look that great. So please forgive me for that. In the future, PS5 gameplay is going to look a ton better, and it was just a huge headache. So next question, you guys might ask, what PlayStation am I playing with and what controller am I using? So I went with the digital edition of the PlayStation 5 just because I don't have any PlayStation games, and I'm just going to buy them online or buy some or use free games. And then also I was just using the normal PlayStation 5 controller, the DualSense, and I definitely enjoy their controller, but I play with an Elite controller on my Xbox with 4 paddles on the back, and so in the gameplay you would definitely see it seriously affects my gameplay playing with a default controller. I had trouble looting, I had trouble moving. It's a lot different for me, and so pardon that as well. But I feel like more than ever in Apex, you need an Elite controller to compete at a high level, and it's just my opinion. But I just felt like I got nerfed to like a bronze player level with movement and looting. My aim was pretty good, and the sensitivity that I was using was 4:3 linear with no dead zone. And the sticks on the PlayStation 5 controller feel a little bit more stiff, so it was a good feeling. Definitely enjoyed that controller. Their default controller is a great controller. Also, I'm going to make an actual comparison video of the Xboxes compared to the PlayStation 5, and so I'm going to leave out a lot of the comparisons and things like that until a future video. Next question that you guys will probably ask is, what screen was I playing on? I used my Gigabyte 1440p 165 Hz monitor, but of course I played in 1440p at 60 frames per second, 60 Hertz, just because that's still the max that we can get on console. And then I played the exact same way that I played on my Xbox Series X, so I could get a similar experience. So here are my first impressions. First thing that I want to say is playing Apex on the PlayStation 5 is definitely a next-gen experience. I know that we are 2 years into this generation of consoles, but if you are playing on any last-gen hardware, the experience of jumping up to any next-gen console is definitely worth it for Apex Legends. The biggest thing that you will notice is the overall graphic fidelity and the smoothness of the gameplay, and I felt like playing on the PS5 was buttery smooth, and there wasn't a lot of latency. I feel like latency is also worse on the other consoles or last gen consoles. And this is also going to depend on the type of screen that you play. I also play wired just to lower my latency, and I feel like my movement, my super glides, anything like that, I feel like it's a little easier when I'm wired. When it comes to the frame rate, I hardly felt the game go under 60 frames per second. One issue that I do get on my Xbox is in intense fights and end games. Usually when I'm playing Bangalore, this is the character that it usually happens on, I can get some significant frame drops just because of the smoke and the ult coming down and just so much happening. And so I played Bangalore on the PS5, but I never got in any situation that would have resulted in major frame rate drops. It's usually when there's like 2 or 3 teams and just a lot is going on, and it did not happen in this game. But I have heard from some PlayStation 5 players that issue does exist, but it's a very small issue. But overall, the smoothness of the gameplay was amazing. From dropping out of the ship all the way to the end game, my experience with the PlayStation 5 was awesome, and it did incredibly well at keeping up at 60 FPS with no noticeable dips or stutters. And that really, really matters, like even just playing on console with a consistent frame rate, because having a smooth experience also helps you improve as a player. And when the game runs smoother, it's easier to track targets and see things and just be able to move and feel like you are actually in control. When it comes to the overall image quality of the PlayStation 5, I thought that the PlayStation 5 did an amazing job. It's a truly next gen image. The only thing that I did notice was some foliage pop in on some maps. Mostly this was on Stormpoint and Broken Moon, but it's not that big of an issue. Also, the anti-aliasing, a method that, basically helps eliminate the jaggedness of objects and also just improves the image quality. It was great on the PlayStation 5. It wasn't blurry and looked exceptional even when I played on my 4K 75-inch TV, just as a test. But the graphics on the PlayStation 5 are next gen, and it's a huge step up from the previous generations. Comparing to last gen, these are the main pros that you get when upgrading to a PlayStation 5. The overall, these are things that I've said, but the overall image quality is so much clearer. This totally helps with seeing enemies at long range, and it's just a better experience overall. The step up in smoothness is definitely the biggest thing. Last gen consoles have trouble maintaining a smooth 60 FPS and often suffer from stuttering or freezing issues. And that type of issue is completely gone on the PS5 from my testing. Again, in Masters or other high level lobbies, when there's a lot of people and a lot of ults and everything, it might struggle, but I haven't experienced any of that. And if there are any PlayStation players that have had a lot of experience on the PlayStation 5, please leave a comment. I'd like to hear your feedback and your experience on the PlayStation 5. But the smoothness of gameplay helps you improve as a player. Like I said, playing on last gen definitely holds you back. And when I was playing on last gen, I was playing on an Xbox One and an Xbox One X. It was definitely holding me back from improving as a player. Now we've got one feature, which is the SSD feature of the PlayStation 5, and that basically helps you load into games faster, but this is not very applicable in the Apex. So if you're a Wraith, you can get back to the lobby faster, but loading into the range is super fast. That's a bonus. But usually when you're waiting in Apex, it's actually just because other people are connecting to the lobby. So overall, my experience with the PlayStation 5 was super, super positive. I'm going to make a video comparing the Xbox to the PlayStation 5. I'm going to do some frame rate graphs. I'm going to do a bunch of stuff to really break it down and compare the image quality. But overall, everything that I was expecting from a next gen upgrade or just a next gen console, the PlayStation for sure lived up to the expectations. Anyway, guys, that's going to be it for my quick first impressions review of the PlayStation 5 for Apex Legends. But let me know down in the comments if you have any questions regarding anything with PlayStation or Xbox or console Apex or anything like that. I'd love to get back to you guys. And also, if you're new around here, please consider subscribing. And if this video did help you out, hey, leave a like, and I will catch you guys in the next one.